All right, today we're dealing with operations on functions again, and we are dealing with 0 as an exponent and negative exponents. Yay! So 0 as an exponent, anything to the 0 power is 1. So maybe many of you remember this rule, but why? Okay, so that's what I want you to do. I do want you to question things, ask why is this the case? I really want you to understand these things. So let's think of it in two different ways. All right, so first we're going to think of it as in the regular way. Okay, I got 5 on the top, I got 5 on the bottom. These are all exactly the same. I have nothing left. But when you have nothing left, anything, we have 1. We don't have 0, we have 1. It's a division problem. You can't get 0 out of a division problem. The other way of thinking about it is using our division rules. If we have this is 5 minus 5 is 0. So what that's saying is I have x to the 0 power. I have no x's left. So if I have no x's left, I just have 1. Okay, how many times does x to the 5th divide into x to the 5th? How many goes in 1 time? It can't go in 0. It has to go in 1 time. So that's why anything to the 0 power is 1. So what's 7 to the 0 power? 1, you just said that. What's negative 7 to the 0 power? I tricked you. Sorry, I don't really like to trick you, but it's just the way it is. This negative on the outside like that negative on the outside is a shorthand way of writing negative 1 times 7 to the 0 power. That negative 1 is not connected to that 7. You'll know that when you do that in your calculator. Go ahead and try it now. Try it in your calculator, and the calculator will give you negative 1 as an answer because it does negative 1 times a positive 1. Okay, it knows that that is not being raised to the 0 power. Okay, it's just, I don't know why I'm writing that. This one, however, these parentheses, like we said yesterday, the parentheses means that all of this is all together being raised to that 0 power. So that is 1. Because that 0 is on the outside of those parentheses, so everything in those parentheses is 1. This one is different. Okay, there's no parentheses here. So this is 2 times x to the 0 power. So it's 2 times 1 or 2. So you have to ask yourself, what is being raised to the 0 power? There's no parentheses, so it's just the closest thing, the one thing that it's connected to. So this one, same deal here. It's 5 times 1, which is just 5. And in this one, everything is being raised to the 0 power. So that whole thing is just 1. That's it. That's what 0 exponents. The hardest part is remembering what is being raised to that power. All right, negative exponents. Now, I know most of the stuff you have seen, possibly, I don't know. But it's always a good idea to refresh your memory and remind yourself how to do this. All right, so using our exponent rules, we do 3 minus 5. X to the 3rd and x to the 5th would be x to the negative 2. Remember, whenever you do a division problem, when you subtract, the answer always goes on the top. Okay, great, negative. But it's another way to write the base as a fraction. What's the base? Well, that's that. So that's telling me that negative exponent is telling me that that should be a fraction. And if we do this the old-fashioned way, with 3 on the top, 5 on the bottom, we cancel out 1, 2, 3. I'm left with 2 on the bottom. So x to the negative 2 is equal to 1 over x squared. These two are the exact same thing. So you have to recognize when you have a negative exponent, it's the same thing as this base should be a fraction. So the base, I like to say, if you look on the next one, the base is in the wrong place. Okay, it's like an elevator button. There's lots of different ways to think about it, but technically the base is in the wrong place. So there's 2 parts to every fraction. There's a top and a bottom, or let's get technical. Remember, it's a numerator and a denominator. The numerator is on top, the denominator d down. Okay, so if x to the negative fifth is in the wrong place, that means that it should be on the bottom. There's only two places, so if it's on the top, it should be on the bottom. So that means this belongs down here. Once you put it there, it's now happy and it's positive, and that's done. So the hardest part of this one, in my opinion, but obviously it might not be, the most important thing you can think about is ask yourself, what is the exponent going to? What is the base? So looking at this one, what is the base of the exponent negative 3? Well, it's just that negative 3 is only going to the x, so x is the base. For this one, since remember you have the parentheses, the 2x is the base. Okay, so you can have multiple things as a base as long as you have parentheses. So, let's say so one more time. We have a basic rule. Okay, to make exponents positive. Now, it's not is the base positive or negative. Is the exponent on the base? I think I just got excited or something when I was making this worksheet. Is the exponent on the base positive or negative? So we're looking at the exponent. Okay, not the base. Is the exponent negative? If it's negative, move only the base and that exponent. Then the exponent changes to a positive number, and you're done. If it's positive, you leave it, you got nothing to do. Nothing, you're done. So a to the negative 6 power. Let's make this positive exponent. All right, so we're looking here. So I like to make them a fraction first. It's just my way of keeping everything kind of clear. So I know that the a to the negative 6 is in the numerator. So I'm looking at the negative 6. What is the base? The base is a. So a needs to move down, and the exponent must go with it. It is a power, and it becomes positive. Right? 1 is a placeholder there. That 1 is not technically moving up to the top. It's just there because you can't have a fraction without a top. Okay, so same deal here. All right, I'm looking at this. I see a negative 8 as an exponent. I have to make that positive. Well, what is its base? Its base is y, not negative 5, right? So the base is y. So that negative 5 doesn't move, but the y does. The y moves, and the 8 has to go with it, and it moved down, it's done. It's positive. Okay, so when it's in the right place, it's now positive. This one here, the negative 7. What is being raised to the negative 7 power? Well, x is the base. So it needs to move up. It's in the wrong place. So I'm going to move that up, x to the 7th. You can put the 1 on the bottom, but you can have a fraction without a bottom. You just can't have a fraction without a top. Once it moves to the top, it's positive, and you're good. All right, so now we're just simplifying a bit and then reducing if we have to, and making them positive if we need to. So this is division, so we still have to follow our rules. These are both numbers. They don't have exponents on them. Hopefully you realize this. You have two negative exponents. Their bases are y, both y. So we divide our numbers. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. And we subtract our exponents. I like to do it this way. Some people like to switch and make them positive first and then do the math, like the subtraction. I don't. I like to do the math right away. So it's truly up to you. Whatever you find you understand best, that's what I want you to do. So it's the top minus the bottom. So that's the trickiest part. You have to remember that you're subtracting those two. Negative 3 minus a negative 1, which is the same as negative 3 plus 1, which is negative 2. So the base, remember, is y. The answer always goes on the top, always. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to say, okay, I need to make this -2 positive. So since the -2 is being raised to the y, the y is being raised to the -2. Now, this 2 doesn't count. It stays on the top. The base, the y moves. Y is the base. And this exponent 2 comes down, and now it's positive. So we're just following our exponent rules. If you're feeling a little confused, that's good. Means you're learning. It's all good. So let's try this one. I like to give everything an exponent so I know what I'm doing. Distribute in. This parentheses mean power to a power, so I multiply in. So I have x to the -1, y to the -5, z's +2. It's a fraction. I have negative exponents. So this one here, -1 is the exponent, so the x to the first power comes down. This one here, y to the 5th comes down. Here, z squared stays on the top. Now, you don't have to write 1 as an exponent, but if you like it, feel free. Okay? Finally here, you got to do exponents before you do anything else. Unless you can simplify in the parentheses, which we can't. So we have to multiply in here. So this is x to the -10th, y to the 8th. Okay. All right, now I like to, again, you can make them positive exponents first and then do the math. Not a problem. I don't like to. I'm just crazy like that. So I'm just going to show you my way. Whatever you feel you like, you do. So it's -10 minus a -4. That would be a -6. So that exponent, remember, this is x to the -6 power. And then it's 8 for, this is the x's. Now I'm going to do the exponent on the y. 8 minus a -2. So that's 10, a +10. You got to make that x to the -6 positive. So the y to the 10th stays on top. And x to the 6th goes to the bottom. Yay! All right, have a wonderful day.